Hey guys, just to set up this segment, we were covering on last night's live stream the debate between Harry Sisson and Link Lauren on breaking points. Towards the end of the stream, Link appeared in the chat and asked if he could call in and give some more context to the discussion. So here's that call. On the phone, Link Lauren, a Gen Z TikTok influencer and diehard committed MAGA Trump supporter. So why do you support Trump so much, Link? No, I'm just kidding. Hey, thanks for watching and thanks for offering to come talk to us. It's great to meet you.
Thank you, guys. I just got off. I was interviewing Marianne Williamson for the last hour, and then I checked my...
Link, did you ask her about the staff abuse? Because nobody will ask her about this.
So what I told her was, I said, I've seen the hit pieces, but let me tell you, Marianne, your team was real professional to schedule with. Your assistant, Lauren, was great. I did not. I did make a joke about it, but everybody I talked to was great. So once I just interviewed her on TikTok Live. Once it's done processing, I'll post it. But yeah, no, people have been messaging me the other night. People were doing reactions on YouTube to the breaking points thing. And then someone messaged me that you guys were talking about me, someone named DueDissidence. And I said, oh, let me Google this. So I'm having a cheeseburger, making a Shirley Temple, enjoying Labor Day weekend with my friends and family. How are you guys?
I'm doing great,
good.
man.
Good.
Thanks
We're
for calling in.
Thing. Yeah, thank you.
No, it's great. It's great to hear from you. I thought you handled yourself. I don't know if you saw our coverage, but I thought you handled yourself really well in that interview because you stayed committed to your position, what seems like your position. I mean, I'll ask you right now. It sounded like to me you're not a committed Trump supporter, that you're keeping your options open, but that you have these criticisms of Joe Biden. And they kept trying to steer the interview back to sort of painting you into a corner as being some Trumper so that you can be a foil to Harry Sisson.
Yeah, there seemed to be some tomfoolery going on because when they reached out, it was never painted or portrayed to me as being some heated debate between me and Harry Sisson. I thought it was a conversation about issues Gen Z's dealing with, like all the things I talk about on my TikTok page, mental health, young people turning to substances, the suicide rate going up, healthcare, Ukraine. I thought we were going to talk about issues and how Gen Z feels. But I think they wanted it to be like a personal, like Real Housewives reunion kind of debate. Right. And I was trying to come from a place of journalism. Like I was just in Iowa with Vivek Ramaswamy. I was in Milwaukee at the debate covering it. Just interviewed Marianne Williamson. I've interviewed Kennedy, have more coming. So I talked to candidates on both sides of the aisle. It would be really bizarre for me to say, I support this candidate right now, September 1st of 2023.
So your show, you're basically doing straight journalism from a generational perspective. Is that what your show is?
Yeah, on my TikTok, I get about 20 million views a month, and I guess it's turned into these opportunities to go on podcasts. I'd never heard of these podcasts or anything. People around me were saying, you got to go on Breaking Points. It's such a big deal. And so I was grateful to be invited on and grateful for Crystal and Sager having me. But it seemed like they wanted a hardcore Trumper versus a hardcore Biden.
Right.
And I thought there was so much room for more nuanced conversation because to me, the Trump versus Biden, they're already doing that on every mainstream news network. We could go turn on MSNBC and hear that debate. So why not talk about real things that are going on? Because a lot of the systemic issues, they've been here before, they're going to be here after any of these candidates. So, it just seems that it's a little weird.
So why do you think, because talking to you now just reinforces the impression that their bookers really fucked up. Like, why did they think that you were going to hold down the MAGA position? Because I'm not hearing that at all.
Yeah, no. And even the person who set that all up said you were never pitched to them as that. You never pitched as that. Obviously a large contingent of my audience, they support Trump. I mean, he's doing really well in the polls and the mugshot is only helping. But it's not my place to opine and tell people, like, how am I going to go interview Tim Scott if I'm on the internet calling for people to support and endorse one other candidate? Why the hell are they going to have me on the campaign trail? That'd be crazy. So what Harry and I do is very different. And I just want to say I'm so grateful to be on. We had to reschedule multiple times. Harry stood us up. We sat there on Zoom last week waiting for Harry to show up. I'm just keeping it all the way real because I'm not I haven't been living in DC. I'm not part of the swamp or the establishment. I'm just keeping it all the way real. I'm sure people will be upset with this, but the morning after the debate, I got up at 5 a.m. to do Larry O'Connor's radio show on WMAL. I rushed back to the hotel to get on Breaking Points with Harry. He never shows. They said, can we reschedule for the week after? I said, sure. I go on Twitter, and Harry was tweeting about how much he hates Donald Trump. And so I, to add some levity and some humor, I tweeted back and I said, hey, Harry, it looks like you're awake. We're all waiting for you on Breaking Points. It's not a good look to stiff the hottest political podcast out right now. Then I get a call from the producer. Take your tweet down. I'm not going to have you on the show if you don't take the tweet down. No. You got to take the tweet down against Harry. It was his management. Why? They messed it up. And so from then there was already this protection of him. And I'm like, what is going on? Why are we protecting? I said on the phone, I said, why are we jumping through hoops to schedule with this 20-year-old brat? I was sitting here on Zoom the morning after the debate, live from Milwaukee, I thought we could have done a debate breakdown from someone who was literally there in the arena backstage. They said, no, we have to reschedule and fit Harry. So I took my tweet down. I said, okay, I'll be a team player if it's going to make him feel comfortable. But no one's ever vouched for me or jump through hoops to make me feel welcomed or comfortable. And I thought the tweet was kind of funny, to be honest. Hey, it looks like you're up. We're all waiting for you on Breaking Points.
Yeah. No, right. I mean, that's fair. You made a point to be there.
I don't understand this. What do they care? What do they care if two people?
They didn't want to blow the relationship. They didn't want to embarrass him, probably, because then they were afraid
but they
couldn't
didn't do the tweet.
Right.
Why? Because they're... Okay, go ahead, Link.
No, it was just like, I'm not going to have you on the show if you don't take the tweet down. And I was like, why am I being lumped in with this DNC shill, allegedly? We do such different things. I mean, I've been on the campaign trail. I'm here in Milwaukee. Why am I being lumped in with some kid in a dorm room saying how hot Biden looks on a beach in a swimsuit? This is weird. It's just like, this is ridiculous. Why am I being lumped in with this bullshit? And let me just say, though, I'm so grateful to have been on Breaking Points. I don't really know much about what's hot and what's not in politics. I just am grateful for any opportunity and hopefully can go back on and talk about all the issues I cover on my page, because to me, the Trump v. Biden debate was also such a fallacy because does Crystal really think Biden's going to be the nominee? When we get to the convention, does she really think Biden's going to be the guy? Because I'm already hearing rumblings. They have backup plans.
Well, do you feel he's not going to be the guy?
I think it would be a mistake for the DNC to ram Biden down our throats come November of 2024. I mean, the data shows 70% and growing Americans don't want him to seek re-election or seek a second term. So why are they trying to fit a square peg in a round hole? I mean, even trying to make South Carolina the first state so he's not embarrassed again in Iowa and New Hampshire. Why are they doing this? It's almost like putting together some, crossword puzzle. It's just really weird. So no, I would not be surprised if Biden steps down off the ticket.
So let me ask you something that they didn't seem very interested in. Mm-hmm. Is there somebody out there that you do like?
So there are candidates that I really like. I've been spending time with Vivek Ramaswamy's campaign. I do like that he's an outsider. I don't agree with everything he has to say, but I don't agree with everything anyone has to say, to be honest. I thought at the debate, Nikki Haley was kind of the underdog who emerged at the debate. I thought Nikki Haley made great points. I also think RFK Jr., he hasn't been getting as much press right now, but I think RFK Jr. is still going to emerge. So we're just going to have to see what happens. I mean, I told them over and over, you never know in American politics what's going to happen. And everybody in the comments was like, why are they interrogating him to say who he's voting for? And it's like the summer of 2023. It just didn't make sense. And it also was like, why are we spending time on this when there's so many other issues? I mean, I was the only one who mentioned Maui, which was a recent news story, the only one who mentioned Ukraine. Right. It's like the Trump v. Biden debate. And then, they wanted to discredit what I had to say about his calamitous trip to Maui. But most everybody in Maui agrees they're not happy.
with Link, can I ask a question to Link? Like, when you were pointing out those valid criticisms of the Biden administration, how they handled Maui, did you see that smirk on this smug little kid's face? And does that is a sign of sociopathy? Because
that was going to be my question: is the reaction to his face?
I'm so sorry, Keaton. I'm so sorry.
No, it's all right.
But it's like, to me, I think this kid is shooting for the stars. he clearly wants to be on the Democratic National Convention stage next year. That's what he's going for.
I don't know. I only have a minor in psychology, so I don't think I can diagnose anybody. And like I said to Harry at the end, I know they said it was condescending, but all of the adults who reached out to me said it was genuine. I really hope he does get out of that lower Manhattan NYU bubble, because I went to NYU. I went to NYU too. I know what they're telling you in those classrooms. And I know when you live in Manhattan, you're in that bubble. And so I would love for him to go to Iowa, go to a small town and meet a rural voter who runs a small business and have empathy for why people aren't so enamored with Joe Biden. But I know that maybe goes against the talking points. And I don't have talking points. I don't even have media training. If I had media training, I wouldn't be calling into you guys right now. But
what are you trying to say, Link?
Exactly.
No, but it's like, all I can do is speak the truth. And you know what's funny is, before we went on air on the Zoom call, Crystal asked me about being at the debates. And I said, I thought this person did well. They might emerge over the course of the next year. I like this person, this person. But then when we went on air, it was like, those people don't exist. It's Trump, 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 Trump versus Biden, Biden, Biden. And it just was not really tracking for me. And I kept saying, this is a false comparison. Right. Harry, his management has accepted $210,000 from the DNC. They say it's for flights and hotels. That's a lot of flights and hotels, to be honest.
No, come on.
How are you flying?
Yeah, on a G5 jet. No.
Yeah,
this was obvious from the beginning. I mean, like we said on the show, Biden announced, I think it was probably over the winter, it's probably 6-7 months ago by now. They announced that they were assembling a team of Gen Z TikTokers.
It was the army of influencers.
Right, exactly.
And it's like, I've never accepted money from a political party media conglomerate. I was invited to the debate in Milwaukee, and I paid for my own flight and hotel, so none of this would ever come back up. So people know I'm not bought, I'm not owned, and I work really hard. And I just felt kind of icky being lumped in with him, to be honest, because I come from a place of journalism and I've been interviewing major presidential candidates. And here I am I'm supposed to debate a kid who's allegedly paid off. Like,
right.
Kind of weird, but hopefully can go back on at some point and we can get into some of these other things. And I think it's doing really well. I think it's like one of the top 50 podcast episodes on Earth. So apparently it's doing okay. And I really do wish Harry the best. Like I said, I hope he travels and learns and sees other parts of the world. When you're born and raised in New York and then moved to Manhattan from another town in New York, you just don't really have the context. So when Harry's saying how Biden's done so much to help people who are struggling, when you go out and talk to them, like I said, the accomplishments on paper don't necessarily translate for Americans and the rest of the country, all these states that I know he likes to fly over between LA and New York.
But what really struck me watching him there, though, was how polished he is. I mean, I appreciate your hopefulness about his future, but I made the comparison to, a video recently surfaced of Pete Buttigieg when he was about that age. Mm-hmm. And he was the same soulless android then that he is now. Mm-hmm. Like if you're that in that bubble where it's not even being in the bubble, like people go through phases. It's being that much of an operative at that age. Like he was pretty smooth. Like he's very professional. It's not like just a kid expressing his naive neoliberalism. This is a kid who's been very heavily coached with talking points.
But almost to his detriment, because now at 20, all of that is going to follow you. I mean, when your management is on record accepting $210,000 from the DNC, that's going to follow you. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have a hard time building a career, because how are you bought and paid for before you're even old enough to rent a car? It's just kind of, it's rough. And I kept saying on the show, I'm a new media journalist. My medium happens to be TikTok. And I was under the guise that we were each going to represent our TikTok followings and our audiences of what we've heard. We have our ear to the streets. Here's what young people are thinking and saying. I thought it was going to be that angle. And it was turning a little Andy Cohen Real Housewives vibes, which made me feel kind of icky. and I didn't feel good about it. And
welcome to the business, kid.
I know. But what's funny is it's like when Crystal kept pushing me to say who I'm going to vote for, I'm a big fan of the show The Circus. Does John Heilman or Mark McKinnon, are they coming out right now and telling you exactly who they're voting for? I mean, these are the people I look up to, not to sound like Pollyanna, but the people I look up to, they're not coming out and telling you who they're voting for in the voting booth over a year from now. And I don't know why it was a personal debate and not a debate about issues and things going on and all of that. But, it's been fun watching people react to it. I didn't know that this is a whole thing on YouTube where people watch and react. And
this is the name of the game right here. So it's funny because you mentioned John Heilman as someone you look up to. So you're definitely not a Trump guy then, if that's the case. And you seem to, have, certain views.
But here's the thing, though, right?
I'm sorry. Sorry, what was that?
No, it's not about not being it's not about, if I'm for Trump or for this or for that. You know how I would lose credibility if I come out and just tell people, here's who I'm voting for. And here's who
I understand that.
Because my people respect everybody in my comments say, thank you for being unbiased. Thank you.
Well, I wasn't suggesting that you have a bias or that you should reveal a bias if you do have a bias. But what I'm saying is just from what you've told us, which is that you have some views in common with Ramaswamy, you thought Nikki Haley made some good points, and you look up to John Heilman, right? I mean, it seems like at the very least, if you have a political bias, you're very conscious not to reveal it because it's very difficult to discern your politics given those three things, because Ramaswamy and Haley were really clashing on a lot of points, and Heilman's politics are more or less Harry Sisson's politics. You're right, from what I can tell, right? Whatever efforts he makes to conceal them.
When I said I look up to, I'm eating tater tots and a burger, but we just broke.
Cheeseburger in paradise, baby. Today's the day.
When I say I look up to people like John Heilman and people in that journalistic realm, you would never see an episode of The Circus where Jennifer Palmieri and all of them sit around and say exactly who they're voting for. You wouldn't. Has Crystal come out on Breaking Points and said exactly who she's voting for? I mean, I thought she was a Bernie person up until last week. I just talked to Marianne Williamson. I think she officiated Crystal's wedding.
She did, yeah.
Yes.
I'm like, why is Link Lauren supposed to sit here and say exactly who I'm voting for November 24th? We're not sure.
Right.
I'm following everything that's going. Sometimes I keep up with all the events, all the trial, everything going on with Biden.
Link, you're breaking up.
You're starting to sound a little like the Charlie Brown teacher there.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, now.
Yeah, now you're back.
Yeah, no, it's just it was funny being interrogated about who I'm voting for. And I got so many messages from people being like, you should never wear who you're voting for on your sleeve that much. You're going to get so much hate. You're going to turn off these people and turn off these people. And we're already in such a partisan, polarized environment. I try and talk about issues from a common sense perspective where people on the left and the right can agree. So, it was interesting for sure. But I do wish Harry the best, Harry Sisson, and we'll see what happens with him. But he is very trained. He has his points down. He can rattle off all these different policies, which I said he was going to do on the show. Right. But, a lot of the things he said, they have been debunked since the episode came out. I mean, he said this, and that.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Veterans have come out and said, your point about veterans isn't true, this isn't true, this and that. And then to sit there and laugh and make faces when I'm raising valid concerns about Biden's trip to Maui, which everyone objectively knows was a calamitous trip. His own team. Yes. I spoke to someone on Biden's team a few nights ago who was like, we push him out on stage and we pray to make it through to another day. That's where we are.
Wow.
And so, they're acting like it's far-fetched. And when I brought up the censorship on social media, of course, Harry's not feeling the censorship because he's going along with the DNC agenda that's mandated from on high. The algorithms love you.
Of course.
But censorship in our country, the First Amendment, if we don't have the First Amendment, we have nothing else in this country. Right. And maybe he doesn't understand that. But to me, bringing up the censorship was something that was topical. He's in court right now, fighting the lower court's ruling. Let's keep it real. And you notice that Harry and Crystal, they didn't have a real argument except, well, Trump did it too.
Right.
But Trump did it this way.
Which wasn't true.
Right. It was Trump did this, Trump did. Oh, well, I already knew when I mentioned the censorship, she was going to bring up the Twitter files and all this. Believe me, I've been on the internet for a while. I know what she's going to say. But I was just kind of like, to me, these are big issues. And we're also, you want to vote for a candidate who you want to have a beer with. And I don't think Americans feel like they want to have a beer with Joe Biden at this point, to be honest. I mean, the granddaughter in Arkansas, I know people think it's a petty point. They say, why are you bringing up the granddaughter in Arkansas? I've seen the comments from thousands of moms and thousands of women who thought they thought that was disgusting, to try and block the grandchild from having the Biden last name. You didn't want to pay her child support. She's almost 5 years old. She's never met her father or her grandfather, who's the president of the United States. That was an opportunity for Biden to say, look, my family's just got as many issues as your family. We're going to embrace this little girl and maybe even invite her up here to the White House. Instead, they shunned her, ridiculed her. She has no security, no anything at their house. So no, these are issues Americans care about, and Harry can laugh them off and say that they're petty right-wing talking points. But I'd love for him to talk to real moms across this country and real women who they think this is a big deal.
All right,
Well,
so
also, if you put your ear to the ground, I don't know if it's going to happen. It sounds like you listen to a lot of people on the right as well as the left. Mm-hmm. They're really talking about bringing articles of impeachment against Biden on the Ukraine stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be up to Kevin McCarthy, right? So it's sort of in his purview if he wants to bring about articles of impeachment. The thing I've been saying is, look, if you're going to do articles of impeachment, you better have a bullseye shot, because if you do impeachment and it doesn't stick, it's going to follow for years to come. And I'm sick of, we always do in this country, we do impeachments, but then the person's never gone. It's like they were impeached in this part or impeached here. It's like, okay, but they're still there. Like the impeachment didn't stick. Right. So if they're going to try and impeach Joe Biden, you better not miss the shot if you take it.
Well, it's about, I mean, when you say missing the shot, it's really more, yeah, I mean, it's about winning the PR battle. I mean, they're never going to get 2/3 majority to oust him from office, but it's about can you make the case to the public in advance of an election, or will it look like you overstepped and will it end up backfiring? Like that, those are the concerns that generally come up surrounding that. I got some questions from the chat. Some people I noticed posting in the chat that said they were interested in you interviewing Dr. Cornel West running on the Green Party candidate. I got a lot of people mentioning that. Do you have any interest in doing that? What are your thoughts on his candidacy quickly? I know I'll let you get back to your cheeseburger soon.
Yeah, so I'm trying to schedule right now to get to all of the candidates. It's just hard trying to, coordinate schedules and everything. So like I said, I've interviewed quite a few. I'm going to the next debate as well, so hopefully can connect with the rest who I haven't spoken to. But as for Cornel West, I'd love to talk with him. I think everybody should have the balls to sit down and talk with anyone, okay? We can't live in our siloed little world of this network covers this and this covers this. I want to sit down and talk to anybody. So I'd love to talk to Cornel West. I was disgusted by Harry Sisson's tweets about Cornel West. I think he kind of said he was like a deadbeat dad who didn't pay child support or something. Yeah. I was hearing about all this at like 6 a.m. before going on Breaking Points because I was in a different time zone. And so I was going in like, this kid, I just don't get it. So no, I'd love to talk to Cornel West. And I know some people have said that I should talk to him. And yeah. What other questions do the audience have? Should I be girding my loins, or are they okay?
Oh, no. I mean, if you want to take a couple more, you could take, here, well, you gave us a super chat, which thanks for the donation, but we were on it from some other chats, though. Here, I don't know if you want to go here, but as long as you're here, Ruthless Criticism asked if you bleached your hair to try and mess with Crystal's head, because I don't know if you know that her husband has bleached blonde hair, too. I don't know if you did that.
I did not know that until afterward when a million people mentioned it to me and said that I look like... It's like, people think I've never heard that I look like Draco Malfoy. It's like, I've heard this my whole life. I look like the Harry Potter character. Believe me, I get it. But no, did not change my hair for Crystal.
Okay, so he did not change his hair for Crystal. We have confirmation on that. Garble, this is the most coherent question Garble has asked us all night, actually. Does Link believe in putting tots in the burger? So do you put?
No, I do not have the tots in the burger. Sorry to disappoint.
Okay, so tots are a side dish. Beautiful.
Side dish.
All right. Well, I guess that's all our audience has. Hey, Link, it was great to meet you. Thanks for doing this impromptu. We would love to set up something more formal, have you back on the show for
sure.
a full, more formal thing. Because I have a lot of questions I could ask you based on what you told me. But we will save that for another time and do a more formal setup. I'd love to keep in touch.
For sure. And I'm sorry for commandeering. Someone was doing a reaction the other night, and I said, can I call in? How do I do this? But, I just felt like we needed some context. I think it's important to note that I was ready to go last week. We rescheduled to accommodate him. I was told to take my tweet down to accommodate him and his feelings.
And to save the show some face. Because they probably they probably would have thought it was embarrassing if a guest bailed on them. That's probably why they didn't want to know.
Well,
they didn't
the
want
guest already bailed. The guest had already bailed. But, I did say that I've never been in a gangbang, but now I can say I have. So,
all right.
I've never experienced a gangbang, but after Breaking Points, I can say I have. But no, I wish Harry the best, and thanks for chatting. I'll talk to you guys later.
Great to meet you.
Thank you very much for calling in, Link.
All right, bye.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Please clap.